Hi, this is John McAllister. Welcome to Season 2 of the Setting Trick podcast. I want to thank my guest for today's episode, Dave Caprera, for prompting me to get back into podcasting mode. Dave recently published a book called Sleeping on the Couch that is a compilation of columns that he wrote for the Western Forum newsletter and have to do with the fact that his regular partner is also his wife. The profits from Dave's book are going to the U.S. Junior program. And speaking of the U.S. Junior program, there's an excellent post by a young man named Michael Zhu on Bridge Winners about how important it is for individuals to make an effort and what can come from that in terms of cultivating new players. Please check that out. And with that in mind, Double Dummy is available for download and streaming at Vimeo, V-I-M-E-O, search under Double Dummy. And we are planning to do screenings worldwide on October 2nd. So think about who you might want to introduce to Bridge and inviting them to a screening, and talk to your local Bridge stakeholders, your unit reps, your district reps, your club managers and owners and teachers, and let them know that you want to have a screening in your area on October 2nd. Thank you. And now here's my conversation with Dave.
I've been playing Bridge for, I got to think about this. 1978, I played my first duplicate game. I had just finished undergraduate, and it was very fortunate that I had not learned about duplicate as an undergrad, because there would have been a fairly good chance I might not have made it through undergrad. But after undergrad, and with Annie, my wife of 42 years, then my girlfriend, we started playing duplicate. And I've loved it, and I've played ever since. I'm the coach, one of the coaches of the U.S. Junior team. I'm on the USBF Board of Directors, and I happen to also be the District 17 Disciplinary Chair, which is of the three jobs I just listed, by far and away, Disciplinary Chair is the most thankless of them. And by far and away, the most rewarding is coaching juniors. In fact, the reason why I'm on the USBF board, I'm not someone who cares a whole lot about playing in international competition, though I've played in the trials several times. I'm there because of the U.S. Junior program and the work that people like Joe Stokes and Michael Rosenberg do for the U.S. Junior program. That's how it got me involved. And so I've been able to go to where did we go? We went to Istanbul. We went to Salsa Maggiore. Last year, we went to Suzhou, China. But beyond that, it's the weekly coaching, the weekly prepping, and whatever. So 6 years ago, Steve and Kitty Cooper came to me and said, how would you like to write a monthly column for what was called the Western Forum? It's the newsletter that the ACBL puts out for Western districts, one of which is District 17. I live in Denver, Colorado. And I said, sure, what can I write about? And they said, whatever you want. And I said, that's great. So how it all began. Give you a bridge hand. You pick up stiff ace, 5 small, king and 1, king 10 fifth. Got it? Stiff ace, 5 small, king and 1, king 10 fifth. Partner opens a diamond, you bid a heart. Partner bids a spade. You don't like your choices a whole lot. I'll tell you, you tend to open fairly aggressively, so I'm going to impose a no trump on you. So you bid a no trump. And partner bids 2 clubs. So now this hand that was kind of an awkward, misfitting hand has all of a sudden become humongous. And the question is, what do you bid over 2 clubs? Now, I'm playing with my wife in the Denver Regional. And this was some years ago. I don't think we would have, I hope we wouldn't have the same problem today. But I came up with a master bid of 3 hearts, what's sometimes called a bloomer. My hand has gotten much better as a result of Partners 2 Club bid, and I wanted to make the strongest bid I could in support of clubs. Unfortunately, we weren't on the same page, and she passed, and 3 hearts was not a very successful contract. After the session was over, I went to my friend Mike Bissell. Mike, a world-class player. But by then, I think the word had gotten around a little bit. And so Mike had probably heard the story. I asked Mike, you pick up this hand, blah, blah, blah. What do you bid over 2 clubs? And Mike's very quick. And in a shot, he said, well, I don't bid 3 hearts because if I do, I'll end up sleeping on the couch. The result is that was the name of my column in the forum, and that is now the name of a book that has recently been published by Masterpoint Press, available at Barnes & Noble online, Amazon online, and from Bridge Sellers at tournaments. It came out shortly before the Spring Nationals, and they sold out far too quickly in Memphis. The key to the book, though, is that all the profits from the book go to the U.S. Junior program, which was brilliant on my part for a different reason, and that is I got some of the very best players, world-class players, to help me on all of this. In addition to Purcell, Compton, Wold, Mextroth, Hammond, Bobby Levin, I got to think of some more, Kate McCallum, David Granger, and they all appear in the book, and they all appear on the back cover. And quite frankly, if I had said, hey, I'm writing a book and I want to make money off it, some of these guys, they're professionals. This is their business. They might have said, hey, I want to take. But if I go to someone and say, hey, I want your help, and all the profits go to the U.S. Junior program, it was the easiest sell anyone could ever make. No one turned me down. And so as a result, I was able to get their help and participation. Purcell wrote the foreword to the book. And it's now out there, and it's selling. And my goal is to raise as much money for the junior program as I can. So here I am.
Well, there is some interesting. There's a lot of you shared a lot. So 3 hearts.
Yeah.
I was just looking at that. Gosh.
And I've given it to a lot of people, and everybody bids. Everybody wants to bid something. I mean, if you had to bid just one bid for your life, probably 5 clubs. Yeah. Although you can construct minimums that make 6 clubs. Should 4 clubs be forcing in this sequence? Probably. I don't know. I don't have that agreement with anyone. Frankly, if I were to do it again, I would still bid 3 hearts. I believe that is the best technical bid. But as I coach my juniors, do not make a bid unless you have an agreement with partner. Juniors do that a lot. And so it was a mistake for me to have done it at that point in time, I guess. But I think I could do it with Annie tomorrow, and I wouldn't have a problem.
What do you actually make on the hand?
You know, I don't remember. Probably 5 clubs, 5 or 6 clubs. I honestly, she had some sort of, she was a 4x1. I remember the hearts were, it was a 5-1 heart fit. So, I mean, if he had the stiff heart rather than having, a fifth minor suit card, it probably only made 5 clubs.
Did you make 3 hearts?
Nah, I got slaughtered.
Were you vulnerable?
I'm going to tell you, this was like 8 years ago. Can't really remember. I mean,
what did you say when she put down the dummy?
I play bridge with other partners as well, but primarily my wife. And playing with your spouse is sometimes very difficult. If you're playing with a partner with whom you don't have a personal relationship, you can talk about hands and deals and problems, I think, a little bit more rationally and with a little bit less emotion. Frankly, I don't think either Annie or I is very good at keeping our emotions to ourselves. It's something that we definitely have to work on. You watch the top players, and if something goes wrong, watch Bob Hammond. Something goes wrong, you think he was watching paint dry. It's awesome. Playing with my wife, it's not exactly like that. And you sometimes have conversations that get a little out of hand. I might say, why didn't you play the 7 of diamonds? And she might say, why didn't you put out the garbage last night? There's the interpersonal relationships of playing with your spouse that sometimes make it more difficult. So what happened at the table? Oh, probably Armageddon night,
Did she read your columns?
No, or not a lot of them. She's read some of them, and the basic principle behind the column, frankly, is self-deprecating humor on my part. If I can't laugh at myself, who can I laugh at? And I try to make Annie the good guy. And so she has some very good plays she made over the years that are in there. And I have some very stupid plays I've made over the years that are in there. Again, this is a bridge book. So, is it for teaching, or is it because it's your interest, or is it for expanding bridge theory? It's kind of all of those things. And there are some hands that I've shown her and she's seen, and if we played the hand together, she knew the hand. I also have in there, consistent with the profits going to the junior program, I have a number of hands from coaching the juniors. Now, some of those were as a result of Annie and I playing with juniors every year for a number of years. Annie and I, for the Denver Regional over Memorial Day, have hosted some of my juniors. We put them up at our house. The offer is you get yourself here, and then you don't have to spend another dime, and we'll pick up food and entries and whatever. And so we play with them, and the hands in the book come out of some of them come out of the Denver Regionals, where Annie and I have played with the juniors. Sometimes it's brilliant things the juniors did. On one occasion, it's something I did that was very stupid. Playing with one of the juniors, we were going to win a Flight A knockout against, God, who was it? Purcell, Levin, Hampson, and somebody else of that caliber. And we lost because I did not play a slam as well as Bobby Levin.
Oh, right. Yeah, I remember reading about this hand in the book.
Yeah, go figure, I didn't grossly misplay it, but Levin played it better. And so we lost by less than the slam differential. But does Annie read the book? No. She doesn't read many bridge books. I have been over my life a voracious reader of bridge books. I've got a relatively large library. I have all my bridge worlds going back to about 1978, each one with the master solvers problems done and scored and circled on that page. And in the, whatever that would be, 40 years of doing it, I've never gotten a perfect score.
Oh my gosh.
Well, you would think, I've done 12 times 40, right? That's 250 or something, right? And out of all of those, there are only 8 questions. You would think chances are I ought to get 800 once. I think I've gotten 780 or 790 a number of times. But anyway, I read all the bridge worlds. I read other publications that come out. These days, I'm a stupid addict hooked to bridge winners. I get up in the morning and check bridge winners before I check my email. And that's who I am. Annie, she thinks about the game, and she studied it some. I'm not being fair to her. We have 100+ pages of system notes that are one of the ways that we avoid some of our confrontations. If we make a bid and it's not in the notes, or it's different in the notes and you've screwed up, it's hard to have an argument where one person said, you made a mistake, and the other person said, yes, I made a mistake. And the first person said, no, you made a mistake. And the second person said, yes, I made a mistake. That argument can't go on very long. And if you have everything in a pretty good set of notes, the person who made the mistake is often somewhat obvious. Sometimes it isn't. Sometimes we disagree. Even a good set of bridge notes cannot cover every option. And even when we try to write and rewrite them, there are maybe ambiguities in them. I happen to like spelling things out and having lots of examples. For me, it's easier to remember an agreement based on examples. Annie wants to minimize the number of words. Maybe it's because I'm a lawyer, I get paid by the word. But the problem is we have some redundancies in our notes, and if we change them, and change is bad. If we change them and we only change them one place and we didn't change them the other place, then it's my fault, whatever happens. Even though she's taken away editing responsibilities, because I'm not very good with a word processor. And I'm tempted to make too many changes. I tinker. So.
What day were you married in 1976? You don't know.
No, I do. I was married September 6th, and it was the week before I started law school.
So you discovered duplicate after you finished law school, is that right?
No. I finished. We started. Well, let me get my dates right.
I was born in 76. That's why I asked. But my birthday's already happened, so I figured that you probably you would have said 43 years if it had been on my birthday for some odd reason that you'd gotten married.
Oh, okay. No, actually, I think we started duplicate in 76. That was my mistake. We started duplicate in 76. And Annie and I both graduated from Princeton University in 75.
Well, that's a fine school. Fine institution.
It was good for me, and it was good for Annie. Annie's a retired doctor, and when we got married, our wedding announcement said, Anne Brenner, however they write those things, the parents of Anne Brenner and Dave Caprera are proud to announce that they're getting married. Anne and Dave are both graduates of Princeton University, where Anne was magna cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa, and Dave was a member of the marching band.
That's really what it said?
That's true.
What instrument did you play?
Depended on what I was doing at the time. In the marching band, I played flute. In the pep band, I played piccolo. In the university jazz ensemble, and they have an annual musical comedy show, I played guitar. Guitar is my principal instrument, although I don't practice like I should. I still pull it out every once in a while, and I play for about 20 minutes, and I go, God, I suck. And I keep saying to myself, I'm gonna get back into it. But I grew up with a piano in the house, and I owned a trumpet and a saxophone at one point in time, and I played banjo and whatever. I was fortunate to be able to play in the University Jazz Ensemble, which was a 40s big band. It was really a lot of fun. I was not by any means the best guitarist at Princeton at the time. I was a good guitarist, but I wasn't outstanding in any way. However, I could do something that 98% of guitarists can't do, at least kids. Because I had a bit of a piano background and because I'd taken lessons, I could sight read, and I actually could sight read piano music and transpose it to guitar. So they could throw music in front of me and I could play it. The average, college rock and roll kid, certainly going to be much faster than I ever was. But he probably didn't understand music quite as well as I did. And he couldn't sight read. I mean, I remember for the musical comedy show one year, dress rehearsal night, we'd been practicing, and they said, the singer can't hit the high note. Can you play it down a third? And, our little pit band, we had, about 8 or 9 people in the band, said, sure. And, we were musicians and we could just play it down a third. Now, to be honest, playing down a third on a guitar is probably the easiest instrument to do that with. But nonetheless, the ability of all of us to be able to do that was kind of cool. So I enjoyed doing that. I played in rock and roll bands in high school, from like 5th grade through in college some, and then kind of moved on and gave it up and got into Spanish guitar and classical guitar.
It looks like you're in Florida.
Yeah, we came down and played the Southeastern Regional last week. We live in Denver, but we've got a condo down here, and I'm actually sitting on our little porch, overlooking Mosquito Lagoon, which is aptly named in the months of June, July, and August. But this time of year, it's actually very nice. I was out kayaking 7 hours this morning. One of my other hobbies is fly fishing. I've been fly fishing my entire life. In fact, that's the reason I wanted to move to Colorado. And I go out here in a kayak and I chase the redfish around, which I really enjoy, even though I'm a terrible fisherman. Terrible. Fly fishing for redfish is fairly difficult, and it's technical, and I don't have the patience for it, probably.
Are you retired from being practicing law?
Not really, but kind of, mostly. I went to my managing partner. I've been with the same law firm for 40 years. I went to my managing partner 5 or 6 years ago now, maybe even 7, and said I wanted to go up counsel, work part-time, so that I could play bridge. And we played between 15 and 20 weeks a year, including the nationals and on occasion the trials. And we like to travel. And so we've been able to play a couple of European championships, and we've played in Italy, and we just played the Gold Coast, as you know, a couple of months ago, all of that. So I went to my managing partner and I said, I'd like to just work part-time. And we negotiated a salary. And in terms of an employer-employee relationship, my managing partner and I had a interesting conversation. It's unusual to have the employee say, I want to be paid less, and the employer saying, no, I want to pay you more. But what we were saying is, I want to work less, and he was saying, I want you to work more. So we settled on an amount that I don't want people in my law firm to think I'm one of the old guys just sucking money out of the law firm and not contributing. So my secretary gets paid more than I do. But I work probably about 25% of the time, at least that's the theory. Now, I'm a tax attorney and I do transactional work. So for the most part, have laptop and cell phone will travel. And so, yeah, I'm down here in Florida, but I take conference calls and I review documents and draft opinions and stuff like that. I don't know. Every year I tell Annie, I think this may be the last year. But fact of the matter is, I'm not sure what I would do if I didn't do this. And it's been my home. It's been my family for 40 years. I can't cut the umbilical cord.
How'd you do at the Southeasterns?
Not well. But we had very good teammates, good friends of ours, Les and Gloria Bart. We've played with them in past years, and we've played on national teams with them as well. There are some very good teams. I love Florida regionals. They are, I think, some of the toughest tournaments in the country by far and away. We played 3 days against Mexstroth's team. We played against. I'm trying to do it by remembering who we lost to each time. We lost to Bathurst and Kevin Dwyer. And I don't.
Did you beat anybody?
I'm trying to remember. We lost to Kohler and Smith. We lost to Billy Cohen. I don't think we beat anybody. No, I don't remember. But I go and I love to play in the team games. I do not happen to care for the regional pair games. A national pairs event I like. I do like playing match points, but a sectional or a regional, it just strikes me as being far too random. And to be honest, I'm not very good at it. I do not take maximum advantage of less experienced players. Let's put it that way.
Now, did you spend the night in bed the entire Southeastern tournament? Or were you on the couch at all?
Yeah, well, that's what we had twin beds, so I think I was able to escape on that basis. Yeah, one of the people in my book said that I choose my hotels at tournaments based on the quality of the sofas. Um, no, Annie and I got along okay. We just, uh, you know, I've been playing all of these bridge tournaments, and they tend to merge together. It's like I've been playing this one big tournament for 40 years. They just kind of all blend together. And, people talk about master points. They are an attendance contest. I have kind of kept track of them enough so that I average 10 points a day. Okay. I mean, some of the top pros average much more than that. But I average about 10 points a day in and out.
Huh.
And so I judge tournaments based on how did I do relative to 10 points. Now, the problem in part is, as we all know, is they don't come in 10-point chunks often. These days they come, 20, 30, 40-point chunks. And so you can have a dry spell. And then sometimes, you can win 2 or 3 events. And I once asked Michael Seaman, Michael, what do you consider to be a good tournament result for a regional? And he had an interesting answer. He said, for him, it was winning 100 points plus winning an event. And that was his gold standard for when do you have a good tournament. I've had some of those, certainly not as many as Michael. The Southeastern was not one of them.
Do you think you're a better player than you are today than you were, say, a year ago or 5 years ago?
Okay, I'm going to make a confession that I may regret. Age, I think, is starting to show with me. When I was younger, I would go to a nationals and I'd play 10 days and I'd play 3 sessions a day. And, I'd go looking for the midnight game. And I wouldn't say I didn't get tired at all, but relatively I did not get tired. Now, if I play 2 sessions for 5 days in a row, I'm a basket case. And I make dumb mistakes, which I think in part are attributable to the fact that I'm just tired. And I think it's because I'm getting older. I also think that my memory is not quite as good as it was. So that sucks too. So no, I don't think I am. On the other hand, I continue to read. I continue to learn. One of the great things about bridge is you're always on the steep slope of the learning curve. There's always something that you can continue to learn. And I try to do that. I still read, maybe a bridge book a month or something like that, plus my bridge worlds, plus bridge winners, plus all the other stuff. I may be more learned than I was 5 or 10 years ago, but I probably make more mistakes. So that's kind of a yes and no. Now, from the perspective of coaching the juniors, I think I've become a better coach through all of that experience and the experience of coaching juniors. Of course, it's a whole lot easier to tell them what they should have done when you get to see all 4 hands, you're not competing, and you don't have any time pressure. It's not fair, but I think the knowledge and experience as I get older, I get better as a coach, but not as good as a player. On the back of my book, Michael Rosenberg wrote, Dave, you can't keep getting away with do what I say, not what I do. But I think that's kind of probably true of me, that I know more about bridge than I'm able to produce at the table. Now, maybe that's true of everybody. I don't know.
Do you have a highlight from the Southeasterns? Like, for example, like something that you did particularly well?
Did we have something good? Okay. So, yeah, we had something disastrous and we did have something good. And let me share them both with you because I found them both very interesting from a theory perspective. So the bad one first. Annie and I play a strong club system built off of Meckwell Light. And we have a lot of agreements and a lot of tools. And we had an auction that used one of our gadgets that comes up about once every 3 years. I opened a club. She bid a diamond negative. I bid 2 hearts, which we play as a form of coquish. Actually, it's scrambled coquish, and I call it sicko. Take the letters and interpose them. But one of the elements that we have, so you could assume the auction started 2 clubs, 2 diamonds, 2 hearts.
Yeah.
Rather than continuing with 2 spades, which is the normal approach.
But you know more than over 2 clubs, 2 diamonds, 2 hearts, because you know your partner has
0 to 7. But
yes, you don't know that over.
Okay, but in this case, she had shown 0 to 7, and I went 2 clubs, 2 diamonds, 2 hearts, and we break the relay with 0 to 3 high card points and a 6 card or longer suit by bidding 1 under. So I had a 25-point high card no trump hand that I was going to force to game with playing coquish of sorts. But it went 2 clubs, 1 club, 1 diamond, 2 hearts, and she bid 3 spades. And 3 spades showed 6 or more clubs and a very bad hand. I could have just quit in 3-0, but I bid 4 clubs, asking how many clubs she had. And she bid 4 diamonds, first step, showing 6. 6, 7, 8. And I bid 6 clubs. And I think I had like ace, king, 4th of clubs, and it was 25 count. It was pretty easy to bid 6 clubs once I knew the partner was 0 to 3 and a 6-card club suit. But a good team at the other table played 3-0 because they had no way of bidding that. So that was a good one. The bad one was another system.
Okay. You said you said you were going to tell me about the bad one first. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The bad one was a system problem we had. Playing precision, one of the difficulties is disambiguating your minor suits. We open a diamond and it can be 2 or more diamonds. So we had the agreement that 1 diamond, 2 of a minor by partner, 2 hearts by us is the start of a weak no trump. It says I'm 11 to 13 balanced. And our auction then goes a diamond, 2 of a minor, 2 hearts, 2 no is invitational with both minors. So if it goes a diamond, 2 clubs, 2 hearts, 2 no, I have 5 or more clubs, 4 or more diamonds, and invitational values. If it goes a diamond, 2 diamonds, 2 hearts, 2 no, I have 5 or more diamonds, 4 or more clubs, and invitational values.
So 2 clubs is not game forcing for you.
2 clubs is not game forcing if we bid either 2 clubs, 3 clubs, or show invitation with both minors.
Okay.
Okay? We also have the agreement that one diamond, two clubs, two no is a minimum 4 equals 4 equals 4 equals 1. And a diamond, two clubs, three no is a maximum, 14, 15. 4 equals 4 equals 4 equals 1.
When you say 4 equals 4 equals 4 equals 1, that you're showing specifically 4, 4, 4, 1, right?
Singleton club. So
okay.
a diamond, two club, no, is 11 to 13 with 4 spades, 4 hearts, 4 diamonds, and exactly one.
Gotcha.
For the first time for us, I had the invitational hand with 5 clubs and 4 diamonds. And Annie had the minimum 4, 4, 4, 1. So we had the auction, a diamond, 2 clubs, 2 no. And then the third part of the agreement is that we agreed that a diamond, 2 clubs, or diamond, 2 clubs, 2 no, 3 diamonds is forcing. So this was a problem for us. I didn't have forcing values. I wanted to play in 3 diamonds, but I couldn't play in 3 diamonds. And I could have passed 2 no, but it turned out my club suit was Jack fifth. And I knew that 2 no was not going to be a very good contract on stiff opposite Jack fifth. So I bit the bullet, bit of forcing 3 diamonds. We played in 5 diamonds and went down when diamonds, that part score was right. One of the things about the Southeasterns is there were some really good players there. So after we had this accident, I asked 2 people in particular, Jeff Mextroff. Hey, Mextroff, how do you handle this? And Lou Stansby. Lou, how do you handle this? Well, it turns out that the Stansby approach is exactly the same way that we do it, which is to say we can bid 2 clubs followed by 2 no with 4 diamonds and 5 clubs. The Meckwell approach is to just bid 1 diamond, 2 diamonds, 2 hearts, 2 no with those hands, and you may have 5 clubs and 4 diamonds. You don't get to sort out whether your diamonds are longer than your clubs. But that enables you over 2 no to be able to bid 3 diamonds non-forcing, which worked out a whole lot better than what we did. And so as a result, get out the pen and try to figure out, should we change our methods or should we stay with what we've got? Now, this is a pretty good choice. You can either play what Lou Stansby plays or you can play what Jeff Mextroff plays. Doesn't sound like it's a losing option. And we decided last night over dinner, this is a week later, we mull these things over, that all other things being equal, change is bad because when you change, you can sometimes forget whether you've changed or not. And as a result, you have an accident, which isn't worth it. So we're going with the Stansby approach. We're continuing with the Stansby approach and not adopting the Meckwell approach. But that was a bad accident for us. I mean, so we bid 5 diamonds down 1. No big deal, but it showed I should have realized that this was a potential problem. But frankly, I never had, and we've been playing these methods for many years, and this was the first time it came up. Funny enough, in the same tournament, we had the auction of diamond, 2 clubs, 3 no, and I had Jack and 1, Queen third, 2 small, Ace, Queen, Jack 10, 6. I had a hand that was a 2 club, 3 club bid. And when a diamond, 2 clubs, and she bid 3 no, and I went, oh my God, we may not take many tricks on this hand. But what in fact happened is when she gave up a club, she still had, unbeknownst to the opponents, the Jack of spades as an entry. She had Ace, King, Queen fourth opposite Jack and 1, and she was able to take 5 clubs and 4 spades and 2 red cards. So we made a ton on that board, but I can't tell you that the poster child for the methods is a diamond, 2 clubs, 3 no. That's a somewhat awkward auction.
I think I disagree with you that you should have known in advance that you were gonna. I mean, like it's hard. I mean, part of my education in bridge is just running into these things and then being like, oh, now I get it.
Okay, thank you. I'll take that. But I'm not sure I agree with you on this one because in retrospect, it seems pretty obvious, again, with 2020 hindsight, that this was certainly a possibility.
Well, I don't have any hands with like 5-4. I don't have any agreements with any partners about like 5-4 in the minors invitational. So you're light years ahead of me.
As I say, we've got over 100 pages of system notes, and they're pretty dense pack. Most of them are in the form of tables, and there's a lot to remember, but there are a lot of sequences that we cover.
Can you send me a screenshot of like one of your tables for your system notes? Because I want to include that in the
sure,
in the show notes.
Sure. In fact, I'll send you that one.
Okay, cool.
The page that has a diamond 2 of a minor.
All right. Perfect.
There was another alternative agreement, but I think it would be wrong. I mean, now when you start fooling with these things, and that would be to say that a diamond, 2 clubs, 2 hearts, 3 diamonds is non-forcing. I don't think you can do that. I think you need to be able to keep the forcing sequence there. So, I mean, sorry. Yeah, diamond, 2 clubs, 2 hearts, 3 diamonds. That has to be forcing. We do, however, play mulberry after the 4x1. So
I went to high school at a place called Woodbury Forest. It's an all boys boarding school, and the family that took care of was their last name was Mowbray. So
okay.
So like we had these shirts that are sort of famous, and they say WFS on them. They're these gray issue shirts that they give you every day you go to the gym to do your athletics in, and they're called Mowbray wear. So I've never heard of this bridge. Mowbray is like it's a name that I'm familiar with, but I've never heard of Mowbray in bridge. So
okay.
Please continue.
Oh, well, I mean, if you're not familiar with mulberry, it's
mulberry. I have heard of mulberry. I'm sorry, I thought you said Mowbray.
No, mulberry, as in all around the mulberry bush, I think is where the term comes from. I think it's I've heard it accredited to Paul Soloway, but it's possible that more than one person came up with the idea independently. That happens a lot with bridge conventions, obviously. You can play it in a number of circumstances, and people play it in different circumstances. Our agreement is that it only applies when the responding hand has patterned out, when their pattern is known. So, for example, 4-4-4-1. And 4 clubs, puppets, 4 diamonds, over which you can make a natural slam try. 4 diamonds, puppets, hearts, which is the stop signal. So you can then pass 4 hearts or correct it 4 spades or whatever. And bids of 4 hearts, 4 spades, and 4 no are key card in, and people do it differently, but we exclude the short suit and do it low, middle, high. Bids above that in our notes, which have never come up, are key card responses in the 4th suit. You don't have to play that.
What's the 4th suit? What would the 4th suit be?
In this case, clubs. The 4-4-4-1. Okay, so let's say that the auction has gone a diamond, two clubs, 3-0 in our method, showing a 4-4-4-1 max.
And you've got a huge club hand.
I may have a fit with one of the three suits. I may have a very good suit of my own, even opposite a singleton. And so if I wanted to invite slam, naturally, I could bid 4 clubs puppeting 4 diamonds, and then bid a suit, which is a natural invite. I could bid 4 diamonds puppeting 4 hearts, which says I just want to play game, and I could pass 4 hearts, 4 spades, or bid 4 spades, 5 clubs, or 5 diamonds. I could bid Blackwood in clubs by bidding 4 hearts, Blackwood in hearts by bidding. I could bid Blackwood in diamonds by bidding 4 hearts, Blackwood in hearts by bidding 4 spades, Blackwood in spades by bidding 4-0, or tell partner we're playing in clubs, and here are the number of key cards I have with clubs as trump, starting with 5 clubs, 0, 3, 1, 4, 2 without, 2 with. It's useful when it comes up. Obviously, it doesn't come up very often. And be willing to pay insurance. That's a Chris Compton term I've loved. For playing a new convention. When you play a new convention, you're going to screw it up once or twice. And Chris calls that the insurance premium. You have to pay for the ability to use that convention. You had to pay a premium, and the premium was your screw up. And, I think most people, myself included, tend to remember conventions or agreements based on screw ups they've had.
Yeah.
If you've had something go wrong, that kind of registers. Oh yeah, I remember the time I went for 1100 because I forgot mulberry or whatever it might be.
Huh. Well, I love that. I love that level of detail. I love learning about mulberry only when responders patterned out, and the insurance policy.
Yeah, no, the insurance policy comes up in all sorts of contexts. Whenever you're adding a new convention, or when you're changing your system notes, you may have to buy additional insurance.
I keep being reminded in my mind as you're talking about this one hand that I played in the finals of the 2-day pairs in Memphis. Not the imp pairs, not the platinum pairs, Silidor. So I'm playing against Bart Bramley and Kit Woolsey, and my partner is Jovi Smederova. And the auction goes 1 spade, which is limited, favorable, pass, and Kit bids 3 spades, which I ask and Bart says is to play. So I make a undisciplined bid of 4 hearts. And it goes pass, and Kit doubles. And I don't even remember what my hand was entirely. But I know that I had I think I had Jack third of clubs, opposite Queen something of clubs, and I had the 9 and maybe the 8 or something like that. And I went for 800. It was a total 0. But by the time that I got to play the club suits, I knew Kit's shape. So I knew that if he had a club honor, he had a doubleton. I mean, I knew that he had a doubleton club, and I was pretty sure that he had one of the 2 honors, based on the. And so I realized I was in my hand that I could just play the Jack of clubs. I didn't have to guess the 10. And if Bart covered, then I could just play low on the next club, and Kit would win it with his honor. And it was really cool because I had never made this play before. And it was funny because it was a total 0. If I had let them place 3 spades, I think everybody was bidding 4 spades, and it was it was a thing where we were gonna get a top. It was a swing of the full board. But because I found this play as I'm going for my 800, it was a win. And I asked Bart about it afterwards because I looked at the scores and I saw, oh my God, nobody's and I said, Bart, would you have bid for spades? And he said, I didn't. And I said, oh, well, yeah, I guess you're right. So I just keep thinking of that hand. Like, I've started the practice of I have a bridge journal. And so I write down 3 things that I did well, and then 1 thing that I want to improve upon. And I also write like some sort of journal-y type stuff in it when I'm playing. And I've also started the practice of playing, of like warming up before I play, like doing some practice hands in Bridgemaster and looking at some bidding problems on Bridge Winners, because I stalled out. Like, I realized that I wasn't getting better and that my results were actually getting worse. And so I've made a point of like starting to visualize more. And I mean, like, anyway, that's just, I don't know where I'm headed with this. I just thought that I would share it with you because of that one particular hand is how this all started.
There's a you're probably aware of it. There's a famous hand way back when Marshall Miles was playing with Eddie Cantor, and he played in like his 3-1 fit, and it was an absolute disaster. But Marshall was happy because he had stolen an extra trick in the play. They should have beat him, whatever, 11, and they only beat him 10, something like that. And he got pleasure out of the fact that he had found a deceptive play. You got pleasure out of the fact that you had found a way to avoid having to guess the 10 of clubs. Same thing. I mean, we play bridge for a lot of different reasons. But generally, yeah, it's the pleasure comes from problem solving.
And actually, I read probably half of the book, and I was playing in a BBO robot tournament the other day, and I was in 6-0, and I had ace third, maybe of hearts. I'm not sure if it was of hearts, and I had queen 10 third. And that was one of my options for my 12th trick, and I hadn't cashed all my other suits, so I could play it safely. So I just played a small heart, and I don't remember. I think I played the 10, and like it just anyway. I was reminded of the play in your book, and like I probably would have done. I doubt that I would have played it how Bobby played it, but I mean it's. It was helpful for me in that instance.
Well, okay. I mean, I still want to sell my book. I would tell you that the book is kind of geared for all levels. There are some fairly esoteric, expert-only sorts of hands, and then there's lengthy discussion of 8 ever, 9 never. Pretty kind of basic beginner intermediate sort of thing, and I've got everything in the middle. So part of the theory was there's something there for everyone. I give lectures. I've been giving them for a number of years at regionals for the novice and intermediates. I used to have a bunch of different lectures, but now I just give sleeping on the couch, and it's pretty easy for me. What I do is I just take a half dozen hands out of the book, and I use them, and I avoid the esoteric ones. Although with respect to 8 ever, 9 never, I do put up the mathematical formula that proves the equivalency of having a 1 open space differential. I put it up there on the easel and whatever, and the people in the lecture kind of gasp because it is a fairly lengthy formula. And I go, we're not going to cover this.
Have you ever hired?
Have I ever?
Yeah, like bridge teammates or partners or.
There's one of the chapters, one of the columns in the book is entitled Going Pro. And it's my thoughts on hiring a professional. For Annie's 60th birthday, I did hire Marion Michelson to play with Annie in the national women's pairs. But that is the only time I've ever hired anyone.
Wow.
And, well, I'll tell you why. And I'm not saying I never would, but I have been invited to play on top teams. And I think there's several reasons for that. One, I don't get paid, and I play pretty well. Maybe not as well as the other players on the team, but for the price, I come pretty cheap. And the other reason is that because I'm not in the business, pros will add me to their team, knowing that I'm never going to steal their client away. And if I started hiring clients, if I was a client, started hiring pros, I think I would lose the opportunity to be invited on some of the teams I've played on. So, I mean, you can start naming the top players in the country, and I'm going to tell you that, I've played on teams with 80% of them. And that's been very good for me. And Annie and I have played on many teams where our teammates were a pro and a client. Again, we come for free. Now, we're not going to play if we don't want to, and we're not going to play with people we don't like. And we're not going to play places we don't want to go. I once traveled to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Sorry, Tulsa. In the summertime, I was by myself. I was playing with a top pro, someone in the Hall of Fame, all of that, as his partner on a sponsored team. I stayed at the Motel 6 across the street. I did not rent a car, and the only place open at 10 o'clock at night was the Sonic Burger, drive-in Sonic Burger place. And I'm not going back to Tulsa, but I will go and play someplace that, I want to go play, or, against people I want to play against or with people I want to play. So, again, the Florida tournaments are great. And, the foreign tournaments are great. But, if it's now, having said that, I'm in the process of making plans to play Council Bluffs in August. It gets a little hot in August at Council Bluffs, but they run a nice tournament. And we played there a couple times before.
I know you a lot better than I know your wife. I get the impression that you're more into it than she is. Is that true?
If by into it you mean I have studied more, I've done my Bridge World Master Solvers for 40 years, and I go on Bridge Winners and whatever, yes. If you mean I want to win more than she does, no. She does her own thing. For example, you were referring to a minute ago playing against the robots. She does that every day. And it's probably good practice. I can't stand it. I tried playing against the robots a couple of times. They're idiots. They don't give you your rough. They don't return your lead, all that sort of stuff. I have no interest. It's a game, and there are guys who are really good at it. My friend Jim Monday among them. But they know how the robots play. It's not bridge. It's some other game. But Annie, to better her game and to stay sharp and to practice combinations and all that other thing, she'll probably play an hour or so of BBO against the robots, and they have these little tournaments, and there are different tournaments and all. You may know that. I don't know any of that. So yeah, she's into it, and I would say 80 or 90% of the time we play together. She has had a number of women's partners over the years for the national women's events, and I've played, with different partners then. But I don't think it's fair to say she's not into it. She just hasn't. She's into it in a different way than I am.
Like, I imagine the two of you were talking about like changing something over dinner or something, and I just, my imagination, and this could be totally off base, please tell me if I am, is that like you're driving the train here and she's like, okay, whatever, we'll play, like, I forget what you were talking about that you discussed over dinner.
No, it was the Stanley versus Meckwell approach to a diamond, two clubs, two hearts, two none. No, she has an opinion, and she's not shy about voicing that opinion. And sometimes she'll just say you're wrong, and she'll generally resist change if we've already agreed on things. But I mean, we came into this. With a structure and a set of notes, and we've worked very hard together on those notes. So they are very much a joint product. It's not. I'm not driving the train. No.
Are you a better player?
I'm not answering that. There's no answer I could give that would not end up with my sleeping on the couch, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that's what I should shoot for in this podcast, to get to have the podcast elicit you're sleeping on the couch. This makes me want to post it on Bridge Winners so that you can let us know if you ended up sleeping on the couch or not.
She doesn't read Bridge Winners, so I'd be okay.
No, but you can let us know. I mean...
Yeah.
If she listens to maybe so you're suggesting you don't think she'll listen to the episode.
Oh, she might. I'll take a stab at half of that.
Okay.
I think because of my reading, my study, my my tendency to ask my friends who are top players about various hands, like the Basel story.
Yeah.
I believe I'm a better theoretician. I've also played every wacky system known to man, forcing pass systems, and I've got a friend in Australia who has sent me his system notes for the Antipodean diamond, and EHA and all the sorts of crazy systems that people can play. Annie hasn't done that. I'm not sure it makes you a better player, but you probably do get a better appreciation of the bidding theory that goes into developing various methods. So I think I can safely say, and avoid the couch because Annie doesn't claim to be a theoretician, that I'm a better theoretician. I'm not going to answer who's the better player. That's not fair. And in part, you know what? We're a partnership. I'd rather be judged as a partnership than as an individual. Bridge is a partnership game. And one of the advantages that Annie and I have is that because we're married and have been for a very long time and have played together for a very long time, we are able to develop partnership agreements that I think are better than the agreements that many players who individually may be better than we are better than we are. But as a partnership, we bring something that they're not going to be able to bring.
So what's your best result? Your most cherished victory or what have you? Are you a Grand Life Master?
No, I don't. I have almost 18,000 master points. I've come in second and third in national championships. A year ago, Annie and I in the senior teams were a queen away from winning. In the crucial match, move a queen from left-hand opponent to right-hand opponent, and we win a national championship. But no, I haven't. A long time ago, they used to have a world bidding championship sponsored by Epson Computers. I won that one year, but it doesn't count for diddly squat. I would like to win a national championship. I'd like to win a national championship playing with my wife. She has a couple seconds in women's events as well. We just haven't, I asked my friend Chris Compton, can I win a national championship? And I think his answer's correct. Yes, if you play in enough of them. And that's probably the answer that's true for almost anyone who plays. And the question is, well, how many do I have to play before I win? Well, that's the unknowable. Mexstroth wins one a year, but okay. I'm not Jeff Mexstroth. But I think if I play in enough of them, one of these days the queen's going to be on the other side, and we'll bring it home. In terms of Grand Life Master, I believe winning an event in the U.S. trials also counts. Annie and I are playing in both the mixed trials, where we have a very good team, and in the senior trials this year. So I go into mixed events much more optimistic than I do. I'm not going to win the spin gold. I'm never going to be able to assemble a team that would win the spin gold. But Annie and I ought to be able to do fairly well in a mixed event, a pairs event, a team event, the trials. So that's probably our best shot.
Did you play the Vanderbilt?
No. Probably a poor choice of terms. No, we went to Memphis bottom feeder. We didn't have a particularly good tournament, but we played the, if you will, lesser national events because, I want to win one. And if I won one and it was, something that I wouldn't be particularly proud of, I'm not going to defend it. Yes, I would rather play in the Spinderbilt. But at the moment, I'm pretty hard set on trying to win a national championship if I can.
Well, I wish you the best.
Yeah, I if it happens for me, it happens for me. I used to be a runner, a serious runner, a distance runner. And I wasn't a great runner, but I was serious about it. And my personal goal was to break a 3-hour marathon. And it never happened for me. I went through the half under 1:30 probably 7 or 8 times. Now, you might say I went out too fast, and maybe that was true. But it just never happened for me. And it's not going to happen for me now. I am too old. I get that. I still run, but I can't run. I can't run anywhere near as fast as I used to. And winning a national championship, it's a goal. If it happens, that's great. If it doesn't happen, I'll live with it.
Who's your team for the mixed trials?
We are playing with Kit Woolsey and Cheryl Mandela and Alex Kolesnik and Irina from Florida. I'm going to butcher her last name if I try to say it, so I'm not going to.
The Russian chess player?
She's Russian. I don't know whether she plays chess.
It's not Lavinia. Is it Lavinia?
No, this is the other Irina from Florida.
Okay, I'm picturing somebody, but I don't know if that's the same person.
I do not know her, but she comes very well recommended, and we're very happy to have Kit Woolsey on our team. We just added Kit and Cheryl in the last couple of days. Now, if Kit wins the Open, he's going to drop off our team, which will be a disappointment. So even though he's a friend, I'm going to be cheering against him in the Open, I think.
Yeah. I get that. I'm playing the Open Trials.
Who's your team?
I'm playing with Adam Grossack. And then Arjun, one of your players, is playing with another client named Bart Bussink. And Alex Hudson is playing with Peter Boyd Bowman.
Okay. Yes, Arjun and I have had a love-hate relationship for a half dozen years now, to be sure. He's now, I think he's now aged out of the program. He won't be able to play in the next Worlds. But he was one of mine for several World Championships. I love the guy, but I have also had circumstances where I've had reason to get very mad at him. So it's kind of a split. But no, he's bottom line is I really do like Arjun.
Yeah, me too. Well, he's in Double Dummy. You've been helping me out with that with the Denver unit. I appreciate that. We haven't gotten anywhere, but I need to follow up with those guys. That's in my next steps.
Good luck with that.
We're gonna see if how the sales do after this podcast is released.
I hope you sell another 10,000 copies.
Have you sold 10,000 already? That would be remarkable.
Actually, you want to know something? I have no idea how many they've sold. I've had people come up to me and tell me they bought it. I know they sold out in Memphis.
That's exciting.
Well, I gave the guy didn't have enough books. I gave one of the novice lectures at the Nationals entitled "Sleeping on the Couch," and I had a good little audience, and I had a copy of the book, and I held it up there at the end, and I said, "Go right outside and buy yourself a copy. All the profits go to the junior program," and I think that sold them out.
Yeah, I need to start doing that. I need to start doing that for my thing.
It's fun giving those lectures, by the way. They don't take much. Sometimes they try to pay me, and my answer there has always been the same. Give the money to the junior program, or the ACBL Education Foundation, whatever. If I want to make money, I'm going to practice more law, but I don't want to practice more law. So bridge is what I do for fun. I get that they're professionals and they get paid, and that's fine. I do not envy them. I do not envy their lifestyle, living out of a suitcase, traveling on the road. I mean, guys like Compton are out on the road, 48 weeks a year or something. That's just brutal. In my legal practice when I was younger, our law firm is a national law firm, and I had to do a lot of travel. So I don't envy them for that. But the lectures, I do those for fun, not to get paid. And I recommend that you try it. They're pretty basic. Once I've started doing the sleeping on the couch, I've had fun with my audience because I set them up and then I show hands where I've made a mistake, and I get audience participation so that by the time I'm done my lecture, I feed them the punchline. And because I played the 9 of spades, where did I end up sleeping? And the audience in unison, yells out, on the couch, and everybody laughs and has a pretty good time. It's easy to do. I mean, that's an easy thing to do.
Gotcha. Well, that's kind of like this podcast. It's fun to. This is the first one I've done in a while, so thank you for getting me out of my little cave. And I am grateful that you approached me and that you've been an excellent guest. So thank you very much.
Well, John, thank you very much. I've enjoyed doing this. Needless to say, I'm a talker, and you're going to have to edit the hell out of this thing because I have a tendency to just talk on and on and on. But I've enjoyed it, and to the extent that it sells any books and raises money for the junior program, that's great. So thank you, John.
My pleasure.
Okay.
All right. I will. I'll let you know when I'll send you an email when the episode comes out.
All right. Please do.
All right.
Take care.
Thanks. Thanks for listening to this episode of The Setting Trick. I always appreciate it when listeners come up to me and share how much they've enjoyed this podcast. It makes it so worth it to get that type of feedback. So please be in touch and think about Double Dummy and who you want to introduce to bridge.